Hey guys, welcome back. In this quick video, we are going to go over the foundation single crochet, but we're also going to make this really cool leather and glass choker. Now this is made out of 1/8 inch deerskin lace from Real Leather. And you can also use their suede, but I like the deerskin better because it's softer. And I wish I could tell you where I got these fabulous beads, but honestly I found them in the stash. If I had to guess, I would say Blanche's Beads in Teaneck, New Jersey, but I could be wrong. Anyway, it's really simple. It's 2 rows and it's really easy to do, so let's jump right in. In addition to our Real Leather, we're going to need a crochet hook. Now I used a size K. Honestly, gauge does not matter a darn. You just want something where you're comfortable working with the leather, and the K is what worked for me. That's also a 6.5mm needle. And you're going to need 5 beads. Now I'm just using pony beads for this demonstration because I used my cute ones in the actual sample. Now I said in the printed pattern, which is on the blog, but you don't need it. But you can go if you want. I will never say no to blog traffic. My beads are about 5/8 of an inch wide. You could probably get away with anything from 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, but you want to make sure you have a big enough opening that that leather lace is going to fit through. And this leather lace is 1/8 inch. You're also going to need a tape measure and a pair of scissors, but let's just jump right in. This is so easy to do. The first thing you want to do before you do anything else is pre-string your 5 beads. And if you have them in different colors, like I did on the original, or maybe you have, 2 small ones and then a pendant and then 2 small ones, make sure you get them in on the lace in the order in which you're going to use them. So I'm not doing anything fancy here. I'm just sliding my beads onto my lace. If it's a snug fit, you can always cut that little end on an angle. Make it a little easier to thread. Okay. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a slip knot on my hook, but I want to measure and leave about a 12-inch tail. So I'm going to measure 12 inches, which would put me about here. And then I'm going to make my slip knot right there. Now we're doing the foundation single crochet here. So the first thing we're going to do is chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to make 10 foundation single crochets. So I'm going down into the first chain that I made, yarn over and draw up a loop. I have 2 loops on my hook, 1, 2, chain 1, and then yarn over to finish and draw it through 2, like I would a regular single crochet. So I have a little bit of a turning chain here, and that's my first foundation single crochet, so that's 1. Now moving forward, I'm going to go under the stitch I just made, and I'm going to insert my hook under the 2 legs of that stitch and draw up a loop. Chain 1, yarn over, draw through 2. So essentially what you're doing with this technique is you're making the chain and then you're making the stitch that sits in the chain. And we're just going to slide these beads down. We don't need them yet. They're just going to hang out there until we need them. So that was 2. Let's do it one more time. I do have other videos here just on foundation single crochet if you need a review or you need something that's a little easier to see than this leather lace is. So I've inserted my hook under the 2 legs of the stitch, under the stitch I just made, and drew up a loop. I have 2 loops on my hook. I'm going to chain 1 and then yarn over and draw through 2 to finish my single crochet. So I've made 3 foundation single crochets. I'm going to put 7 more and join you to talk about placing the beads. Okay, so here we are with our 10 foundation single crochets, and now we're going to do a bead foundation single crochet. So I'm going to slide my beads up so they're a little closer. I don't need one quite yet, but I will soon. So I'm going to start the same way. I'm going to insert my hook under the 2 legs of the stitch I just made, yarn over and draw up a loop. So I have my 2 loops on my hook. Now I'm going to slide 1 bead up so it's touching. It's all the way up where my work was. Now I'm going to do my chain 1 and yarn over, draw through 2. So there's my bead foundation single crochet. So now I'm going to do a regular foundation single crochet, no bead, and I'm going to go under the 2 legs, but one of those 2 legs has a bead on it. Let's double check and make sure that you can see. So we're going under the same place that we normally would, just don't flip out because one of them has a bead. So here's my plain one. I drew up a loop, chain one, finish my single. Now we're going to do another bead one. So go under the two legs of the stitch we just made, draw up a loop. Now slide the next bead up on your work. My guys are slipping all over today. Here we go, chain one, which locks that bead into place, and then yarn over and draw through two to finish the stitch. Now a plain one, go under the two legs of the stitch before, noting that one is going to be plain and one is going to have a bead on it. And then here we go, a plain one. So we're just going to keep going. We're going to do I did 5 with a plain in between, but you can do more or less if you choose to. But I'm going to alternate my bead foundation single crochets with my plain ones. And then after I put my last bead on, I'm going to do 10 more foundation single crochets. And when I fasten off, I'm going to leave a 12-inch tail to match the tail that I have at the beginning, and that's the end of the first row. The only important thing to note there is do not turn. You're not turning your work. You're going to leave it just the way it is. We're going to come back and put on a second row. So here is our row 1. We have our beads in place in the center, and we have one strand hanging out on either side. Now, the next thing I want to do is add a second row to keep things nice and neat and tight, because I've learned that with just the one row, it tends to get a little flip-floppy. Now, I was curious whether I could get 2 whole necklaces out of one 50-foot spool of this leather, and the answer is no, you cannot. So I'm going to put my second row in white in a contrast color just for the sake of being interesting. So you may have noticed I put a slip knot on my hook. I put it in 12 inches from the end, just like I did the first time. And then I'm looking for the top of the work, so not the side with the beads, but the top. And I'm going to skip this little turning chain madness here. Actually, let's go right in there. Why the heck not? So I'm going to go right into that first stitch and join my new color with my slip knot. And again, if you're using the same spool and you want to make it the same color, that's also fine. And I'm going to go and I'm going to slip stitch in every stitch across. So I'm going under both legs. I'm not doing anything fancy. Remember, for the slip stitch, there's no yarn, there's nothing going on. You're inserting your hook, drawing up a loop, and pulling it through the stitch and the work. And normally I would be doing that in one movement, but working in leather is a little more fiddly than working in yarn. And I'm just going to go all the way across. Now when I get to the end, and I want to end off my slip stitch, I'm going to make sure I leave a 12-inch tail at the other end like I did at the beginning. And I'm going to be honest, I kind of like this in 2 colors. I know with black and white it's kind of hard to see, but I really like the detail on this. I think that's actually kind of cool. So the last thing that I did is I took my 2 strands and I just tied them together in an overhand knot. And I did the same thing on the other side. I trimmed them even if they were a little crooked. I was not going bananas here. I was having a good time more than I was worrying about gauge. And then that was all there was to my completed leather and glass choker. So I hope you had fun. I also did the Fidelma necklace last week. I seem to be on a jewelry kick. If you want to check that out, either here or on the blog. Blog is linked below. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff, so that I can keep making more, and I'll look forward to seeing you again here real soon. Bye-bye.